It'll be 3 years ago, this November, that I lost a son, 32 years old, and he died from colon cancer. So last May, I believe it was, my son David started having some intestinal issues, very similar to what his brother Chad went through. He tried changing his diet and different things. Nothing helped. So finally, he made an appointment in Hershey, Pennsylvania to see a specialist. So they scheduled him to have an MRI. He had the MRI, and after the MRI, he was told they had a 6-centimeter mass in his upper intestine, and that they wanted to schedule surgery to do a biopsy to see exactly what was going on. So they had scheduled the surgery for July 27th. And right around that time, Pastor Register was telling us about August, and that August was going to be a month of healing and financial gain, and just things were going to happen in August. And so I called his mother and I said, why don't you see if you could have this thing postponed until August? And she said, they're not going to postpone it, you know. And I said, well, I'm going to pray that it's postponed until August, because I would like to see it done in August. Well, I think about the second week in July, she called me up and she said, it's been postponed. The doctor was going on vacation and they're not going to do it until August 6th. In the meantime, Pastor and our prayer worshipers were praying for my son. I remember calling his mom. I remember just stopping. This is tough. And saying to her, Jidge, my pastor is praying for my son, and our prayer group is praying for my son. And I just know there's not going to be anything there. They're not going to find anything. I know it. And she said to me, she said, David, they have an MRI. I've seen it on the MRI. There's a problem. There is a mass. I've seen it. And I said, Jidge, I just know they're not going to find anything. And so we hung up, and I remember sitting back in the chair and thinking to myself, David, what's wrong with you? Is there something wrong with you? Do you realize what you just told his mother? So I remember the morning of August 6th, Pastor Register was in Orlando, and he called me early in the morning. He said, well, I just want you to know that I'm here with several other pastors, and we're praying for your son. And about 2 o'clock that afternoon, I get a call from my son, David. And he said, Dad, I don't know what you guys are doing in that church, but whatever it is, they couldn't find anything. And I said, what do you mean? He said, Dad, they had to put a mark on my intestine where it was, because there's nothing there anymore. And I just started praising the Lord. And it's just unbelievable. You know, I keep saying, Jesus, it's unbelievable. And one of these days I'm going to start realizing that it is very believable, that God can do so much.
This testimony is typical of the many things God is doing at First Assembly in Fleming Island.